All of you, welcome back to yet another video. In this video, we'll try to understand that which framework you have to pick in your next dApp development. When you will write the smart contract, when you will deploy the smart contract, when you will test the smart contract, because we have multiple framework. We have Ganache, Hardhat, Foundry, and there are other couple of framework. But which one you have to pick as for getting job, as for getting into the industry? Because this is very important. You have to know that what is the requirement of the industry, and on the basis of that, you have to pick. Because this is a very common problem I have seen in most of the new developer. When they apply for a job, they apply blindly. They don't see the requirement of the company. So if the company wants you to be good in Hardhat, then you have to add Hardhat in your portfolio. You can't add Ganache or Foundry. So you should always check the company requirement. I have seen tons of portfolio, tons of resume. In that, the company is asking for something else and the students are sending something else. So you should always try to make your resume relevant as per the company requirement. So that's the first part. Now let's talk about the framework, that which framework you have to use when you will develop your next app. Because recently I got a couple of projects. In all of the project, the client told us the specific framework for testing and development of our smart contract, which is the Hardhat. So what I have seen over the year that Hardhat is very popular. It's very much compatible and the interface is very simple. As of now, if you're absolutely beginner, then I would encourage you to learn Hardhat. Try to master Hardhat, that how you can deploy, what are the structure we follow, what are the methods we have, how we can connect into our terminal, how we can interact with the Hardhat, and it's all the packages. So you have to know everything because Hardhat has huge demand right now. If you talk about the Ganache, because some of you are comfortable in Ganache because it's give you that nice interface where you can simply drag and drop the API and you can do the transaction. Even I started with the Ganache. I built my first two projects. I used Ganache in the very first, but after that I moved to Hardhat because it's very easy and you can easily able to configure in your application. You don't need to do that manual and drag and drop the file. It's exactly the same, but Hardhat is more preferred and I like to use the terminal more than the interface. So focus on Hardhat. I'll talk about the configuration which you have to do in the existing project. So if you already develop a project using other framework, how you can convert that into a Hardhat framework and what are the changes you have to do, what are the requirements, that's all we're going to talk about it. So Hardhat, you have to start with the Hardhat. So once you're done with the Hardhat, after that, focus on Foundry. Foundry has a similar structure, similar models, similar libraries, similar packages which are involved. The architecture is a little bit different, the configuration is a little bit different, but once you will master Hardhat, it will be very easy for you to switch into the Foundry. If I have to give the percentage-wise weightage to these two frameworks, so I would say that 60% Hardhat and 40% Foundry. So I would encourage you first focus on Hardhat. After that, you can move to the Foundry. And now let's talk about that how you can configure Hardhat in your existing project, because this is the question I have got just now. So first thing you have to do is come back to the Hardhat. And you will find their documentation very clean. They have explained every single thing, that what are the methods they are available, how you can install, how you can configure, and how can you initialize. That's all is explained here. So here you will find all of things like Hardhat runner, overview, installation, quick start. If you come back to the guide here, they have given you the guides. You can simply just scan it, and what are the methods that are available. So we have the setting of the project, then compilation, we have testing, deployment, verify, writing tasks, using Hardhat console, using TypeScripts, command line, configure version, getting help. That's all is mentioned here. Click on installation, and here you will have the options to install the Hardhat in your package. So you have NPM, you have this one, you have yarn. So I would encourage you to go with the NPM, which is this one. Simply copy and use it. You only need this library, this package in the development, not in the production, because once the contract is tested, once you have deployed, you can simply remove that. After that, you don't need it. So this is the command you have to write. Once you will initialize, it's going to give you this bunch of options. So you can pick any framework, you can pick TypeScript or you can pick JavaScript. It's totally up to you. It gives you both the options. And here we have all the methods which they have explained. So you can able to check the Hardhat version. So simply give this command, it will give you the version. So this one is the latest version, and this particular version has a different configuration. So if you are using the old version of Hardhat like 2.2, we have a different configuration for getting the address of the contract, but this has the different method in which we have to target the address on the base of the target keyword. So you have to check that. They have given everything clearly in the documentation. So if you want to see the options, what you have, config, emoji, help, max memory, network, that's all you can able to see. What are the available tags you have? So if you want to clear the file, for example, sometimes we deploy our contract is generate the artifact file and cacheify. So if you want to delete that, remove that from your project, you can simply run this particular command, like Hardhat clean. It's going to remove it. If you want to compile it, you can simply compile. If you want to use console, you can do that. So this is pretty easy, very simple. They have explained. And if you want to test your contract, here they have given all the instruction which you have to do. They use Mocha, child library, and Ether.js. And the best part of this Ether.js package I like is that they have a function called impersonate signer. So for example, that if you want to test your contract on a fork network on the mainnet, so you can pick any address from the mainnet and you can assign, and that will create the signer object, and you can able to do the transaction and test your contract actually on the mainnet. So this is the perfect model. I really like this particular feature they have included in the Hardhat Etherjet package. So you can check that as well. I already made a complete course on Hardhat, that how you can write test, how you can write contract, how you can fork the network. That's all I cover in this particular course. So make sure to follow this particular course. You will understand every single thing about the Hardhat testing. So that's all we have. And here you will find that how you can able to deploy. That's all you will find. If I take you back into my code base, in this project, I'm using Hardhat. Earlier, I was not using Hardhat. I've written the smart contract and now I have to do the testing. So I thought, let's use Hardhat in the project. So first thing you have to do is that which version you are using Hardhat. So if I come back to my packages and file, currently I'm using this one, Nomic Foundation Hardhat Toolbox. And here we have this particular Hardhat version. So you have to check which version you are using. That's the first thing. And you have to also check your node version, because this Hardhat is not compatible with the latest node version. If you try to install Hardhat in the latest node version, it's going to install, but it's going to unzip the entire packages. In that way, it's going to create a lot of problem, because you have to configure every single package individually as per the latest Hardhat version, which is going to create a huge mess. So I would encourage you to use a specific node version, which this particular version is 100% compatible, and you can easily able to develop the smart contract and test. So you need this particular file, config, Hardhat config file. Make sure to give the exact name, and here you do all the important configuration for the networks. So here you have to define your Hardhat toolbox. Then you have to define, this one is optional. If you're deploying to any test network, that's the information you have to provide in the export module. But if you are testing your contract locally, then this information is enough. Like you have to give the solid version name. So the version you are using in the smart contract. So if I come back into the smart contract, you will see that I'm using this particular version. So that's the configuration you have to do here. Then you have to give the network. So this is the network in which you can keep all the networks. So currently I'm focusing on Hardhat, and this one is command. So make sure at a time you have to open one network, because if you keep multiple you can keep it multiple network, but when you will try to deploy the contract locally, is going to create a problem. So make sure to comment this. So whichever network you are using, use it, but other network you should comment that. So this is the configuration you have to do, and this is the folder is absolutely must. Make sure you have to give the exact spelling. So it's contracts, and this is the exact name you have to give to your folder. If you remove the S, the compilation will not happen. It will fail. And you need to create this particular folder called script deploy.js. In that, you're going to write the entire deployment script for your contract so it can trigger. So this 3 folder is must: contract, script, and Hardhat config file. If you want to do the testing of your contract, you can create a test file, test folder. In that, you can write the entire test of the contract. So this is the exact configuration you have to do if you want to use Hardhat. Again, I'm telling you, if you really want to learn deep about the Hardhat, then make sure to check this particular course. In that, you will understand every single thing, that how you can use Hardhat in your project. And that will help you a lot. So that's the only thing from my end. I hope you guys have got your answer, that how you can configure Hardhat in the project. If you have any problem, do let me know in the comment section. Definitely I'll try to help you in that. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.